Welcome to this neighborhood, neighbor.
I am the Martian ambassador.
Des Moines and all of Central Iowa, welcome to Max World Live. Max World is your world. Every day we talk about the issues and topics that matter most to you. And as always, it's your voice we want to hear in Max World. So join the conversation by calling 515-244-0077. And now, here's the host of Max World Live, J. Michael McCoy.
All right, good afternoon. It's the first day of December in the Lord's year 2015. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Max World Live here on 99.3 The Truth. If you're suffering from a little deja vu and you're wondering, that's Mac. He used to be on this station years ago, and then he disappeared, and now he's back? Well, that was 98.3. This is 99.3, and no, you're not crazy, and you have not been living under a rock. This is a brand new radio station that was launched by the Truth Network. It's been in Boone, Iowa for many years, 5-6 years, but as of last July, the Federal Communications Commission granted the Truth Network an opportunity to be in the Des Moines market. Now, I'm not going to go through all the rigmarole because, quite frankly, you don't care. But that doesn't mean we just opened an office in Des Moines. We actually moved the signal. The FCC allowed us to move our signal south, which caused two other radio stations to get to move dial positions. One was Pulse 99. They moved to 101.7. And the other was a public television, public radio station, who also had to move. And then you had 99.1, which used to be downtown, and I'm not even sure if it's on the air anymore. I know it was in the Hotel Fort Des Moines. So this was a process that took 4 years and a stupid amount of money. And so we very much appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. We're a unique radio station to Des Moines. Years ago, we had a station like this in Des Moines called KWKY. It would have been a Christian teaching and preaching station with some social commentary. That's what I do, talk radio, conservative talk radio. And then, of course, KWKY was bought out by the Iowa Diocese of the Catholic Church. And for many years now, there has not been a sustainable full-time 24/7 signal in Des Moines which preaches the gospel. Now, you might think it's odd that someone like myself would be on this station, and I understand that. And I ask you that if you're a believer and follower in Jesus Christ, that you believe in miracles. You believe that Jesus can come in and transform a life. And this happened to me almost 6 years ago now. And I can't explain it. I can only give you my testimony. I can't explain why I'm sitting on a Christian preaching and teaching station in Des Moines, Iowa. I can tell you what happened that made it come about. But if you're not a believer in Jesus Christ, you'll say, well, that's a weird coincidence. Yeah, well, Macism number 3. Coincidence is God's way of revealing himself. God has prepared me my entire life since I was 14 years old to be right here where he wants me to serve his will. And I'm very happy to do that. And yes, we do talk about politics. We talk about faith and values. We talk about Bible verses. Sometimes we go down a rabbit trail and just talk about some of the things that we go through in life as a Jesus Christ follower. In fact, in the next hour, 4 o'clock, I'm going to introduce you to a man that you're familiar with. You just don't know it yet. His name is Craig. And a couple of years ago, Craig's son, Brandon, was drowned in the Lake of the Ozarks after being arrested by state patrolmen on a boat. And 2 years later, we have no answers. The case is still up in the air, and you can only imagine the pain that Craig has. And yet I see Craig every Sunday at church. Every Sunday that man comes to church. He has not given up on God. He has not lost his faith in Jesus, nor has he lost his faith in most of mankind. This will be the very first time he tells his story live here in Max World. And if you're a longtime listener of mine, you know that's what I love doing. My hobby is conversation. It's my favorite thing in the world, and I love it. And I love bringing people in and allow them to have a conversation on the radio about things that most people don't want to talk about, or quite frankly, it's too difficult to talk about. And I try to make people extremely comfortable when they come in here. And we've had some of the greatest interviews of all time that Des Moines ever heard by not just me, but by really good radio announcers who allow the subject, the topic, the questions to organically grow. I always have people say, well, do you have a list of the questions you're going to ask me? No. Well, then they look at me. Chris Roloff's in here. He's our station manager. They look at me like I'm unprepared, like I'm unprofessional. And I understand there are those people that need, for 25 minutes, they need 25 questions. My next question is based on your last answer, because that's a conversation. If I wanted to interview you, I would have 25 questions. I don't want to interview you. I'm sorry. I'm not that good. I want to hear what your heart has to say about the topics that we're talking about. So, in the first hour of this radio program, we try to bring you local news stories or news stories that are impacting us. And by the way, this is the old Paul Harvey version of news and comment. This isn't just a newscast. This is news and comment. And you really don't want to hear my comments, but I really want to hear yours. It's your voice I want to hear. We have open phone lines, 515-244-0077, 515-251-0077, or I'm sorry, 244-0077. Frank is producing today. He'll answer the phone, and just tell him that you want to get on the air with Mac. Be nice, please, and we'll have a conversation, you and I. Now, Chris, we have an exciting Christmas party coming up tomorrow that all the listeners are invited to.
Yes, they are.
And it's free of charge.
It's free unless you want to eat.
Yeah, but who wants to eat? Although it is at Pizza Ranch.
And it's at noon, yeah.
and Pizza Ranch has the best roasted chicken ever.
It is the
Ever.
funniest thing. My family, when they travel up here, they say, oh, look, there's a Pizza Ranch. And I say, oh, yeah, they have really great chicken. And my relatives think I'm kidding. But that's really true. Their chicken is outstanding.
Yeah.
It says Pizza Ranch on the building, but a lot of people I know really do go there for the chicken. You can have the chicken delivered. Most of them with their, yellow trucks or whatever running around will take the chicken to you. But I like their pizza too. I like it. They also are a nice salad bar. They
have other things.
I'm a big fan of having a salad bar.
Potato chips.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
yeah.
Man. That was
buffalo chicken.
They have buffalo chicken, but those homemade potato
Dessert
chips,
pizza.
Yeah. Oh, the cactus bread.
Yeah.
You know what we do here? The staff at 99.3.
Yeah.
What we do is when we get Pizza Ranch pizza, the sweet stuff, we get the slice, put it on a plate. That's normal. But then we go over to that ice cream machine that they got.
Oh yeah.
And we put the ice cream right on top of there.
Yeah.
It's like cobbler a la mode is kind of what it feels like, cobbler with ice cream on it. It's great. Well,
and I don't know if this is everybody. I shouldn't say this on the air. I don't know if this is everybody's experience, but when I go in and I pay for my meal up front at Pizza Ranch, they always say, is there any kind of pizza you'd particularly like?
Oh, sure.
And I say, yeah, my favorite is Canadian bacon, mushroom, and black olive. So they'll make one.
Right.
Come out to my table, let me have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever pieces,
right.
And then they put it on the buffet.
Oh, it's so good.
But that level of customer service is really something important to think about.
It is. It is.
Because when you go to a pizza buffet, you feel as if you're giving up that one rare American thing that's my favorite pizza.
Right.
That's my favorite combination because, between cheeseburgers and pizzas, the combinations are endless. In fact, there's probably more combinations for pizza. And so they ask you right there, what's your favorite? Well, nobody ever makes Canadian bacon, mushroom, and black olive. Nobody, ever.
Right.
With anchovies, if they have them. But they'll make that for me and bring it out, and then they'll put it on the bar.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And by the way, this isn't a paid advertisement for Pizza Ranch. They don't pay us, and we don't pay them to come there. They're a Christian business. This is how we help them. They help us by us being there. So as you sit here and listen to this banter, don't think that there was anything written down or anything prepared or anything. We're just appreciative of the couple that owns most of the franchises here in town, including the one. It's in Urbandale. But I always think of it as in Johnston.
Well, it's on the north edge of Urbandale, right? Because it's in the the north part of 86th in Urbandale. So just south of the interstate there, it's a newer pizza ranch. That's the one we're going to be meeting at 86th Street.
Yeah, and they have like corrals. Is that what they call them? These private rooms?
Yeah.
And so we'll be able to go in there. And let me tell you the best part of tomorrow. It's a sing-along.
Yeah.
Nathan Thomas, who is one of the best worship leaders in our community. He's at Berean Assembly out in Pleasant Hill. He's going to bring his keyboard and some speakers, and we're going to sing Christmas carols.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it,
Just old-fashioned Christmas carols. And by the way, Nathan has some awesome, here I'm selling something. Nathan has some awesome CDs for worship, like in your car when you're driving down.
Yeah.
We used his CDs when Dr. Gruters, a good friend of mine, was dying in hospice. And we just had the little CD player in the corner, and it was just this constant hymns and constant praise music. And so Nathan makes those.
That's cool.
Produces those, so they'll be available tomorrow. So there's no excuse. If you're not on our email list, send me an email or a Facebook page or call the radio station and give me your email address. Chris sends out a couple of emails every week on this thing. It's the first Wednesday of every month, and tomorrow's our Christmas party. There is no speaker. There is no one giving testimony as we normally do. We will, however, have prayer requests like we always do. Bring your prayer requests to the table. We'll pray with you if you need. There's always prayer partners. They're available to take with you on the side or to meet you outside later or to be wherever you need to be. If you just feel like somebody needs to pray with you, then we're there to pray with you. And then Nathan's going to lead us in some Christmas carols.
And that's tomorrow from 11 to 1 at the Pizza Ranch on 86th Street. Singing starts at noon.
All right, coming up next, I've got 3 or 4 big news stories, including 2 people dead. They've got some ideas who they're looking for, and we'll tell you about that when we come back live here in Max World Live, only on The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can give these grandkids back, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We can help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah!
If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
All right, 21 minutes after 3 o'clock on this first day of December in the Lord's year 2015. You know how I always know that my watch is old? Is when there's not a 31st. I have to hand wind my watch ahead one day. I just had to do that. I looked at my watch and it said the 31st, and I said, no, I think it's the 1st of December. All right. I got a couple of breaking news stories, and I'm going to, I always credit my news sources because I don't have a team out there. This is coming from KCCI, although Channel 13 has it also. At 2:44, so about 30 minutes ago, police were called to the 1300 block of East 14th Street. Now, that's about 2 blocks north of East University Avenue. That's a very, very busy intersection. Bullet holes have been reported in at least one home in the area. We'll have more on this story as the day goes on. And obviously, KCCI will update this story. Hopefully, we'll update this story on Channel 8 News at 5 o'clock. All right. It is exciting in all kinds of ways. If you are a restaurateur, or if you like eating out at nice restaurants.
I like food.
Prairie Trail in Ankeny is one of the fastest growing kind of Court Avenue district type of thing, kind of like West Glen. And
where is that? Where is Prairie Trail at?
All right, Prairie Trail would be north of DMAC.
Okay. But
south of Oral Labor Road, so south of John Deere.
Okay, yep.
All right, so it'd be in that area. And everybody knows I shouldn't say everybody. If you live in Ames, you know the restaurant Whiskey River. It's a very successful restaurant up there. They are opening a new bar and restaurant in Prairie Trail. It'll be located on the corner of Vintage Parkway and Southwest Merchant. When will they'll seat 300. They'll think they'll be open somewhere by the fall of next year. So it'll be about an hour or about a year. But it is nice to hear that restaurateurs, local restaurateurs, I want to emphasize that. I'm always in favor of local restaurateurs. Obviously, I was one at one time. So not that I have anything against the chains. I just think it's important that we remember that it is really local. It is really local that creates the community that we have. It is not, I'm sorry, it is not national retailers. I know you think it's cool to have Target on every corner, but I'm telling you that I'd rather have a Valley Junction on every corner than I would a Target. Now, that's just me.
You know, Mac, one of the things that really has impressed me as a new transplant to Iowa, as a new resident of this state, it impresses me how much what would appear to be big box type stores are local. Okay, I think of Casey's, I think of Yonkers, I think of Hy-Vee, I think of Fairway, all these companies, and there's so many more that I'm just not naming. A&E Dairy. I mean, there's so many great companies in this state that are doing top of the line stuff in their industry, and they don't need the big corporate out-of-state people to come in and do their stuff. In fact, my mother and father-in-law, my whole family's in the Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area. Okay, 6 million people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, tons of grocery store options. They are always super impressed by Hy-Vee, specifically the one there on 86th Street, the kind of the newer renovated one there, 86th and Douglas. They're just blown away at the top quality. And to me, that just screams local, that Iowans know how to do it well, take care of their own. It's something that we here in this state can be really proud of is local stuff.
All right. Well, and as we segue from being very positive on local, I have to kind of give you bad news. In October of 2014, so a little over a year ago, Dr. Sean Kirby, who is a dentist and ran Kirby Family Dental at 1200 Valley West Drive for many, many years, his license was put under probation. On October 2014, he was charged with indiscriminately prescribing or dispensing drugs for unlawful purpose and then failing to keep proper patient records for prescription medication. Well, early this morning, undercover DCI agents and DEA agents, drug DEA, administration. Well, anyway. Office were taken to Kirby's home, and it was raided. And Mark Tauschak from Channel 13 saw guns, computers, his pickup truck, other items being removed from the property. Frank?
Is that Drug Enforcement Agency?
Thank you. Yes, I knew you would know that. You should know that. I knew you would.
I had a lot of contact with them.
Employees at Kirby's dental office said he was gone for the day. And I just want to say that makes me sad.
Yeah.
I don't know him. I have no idea. But, here we are trying to talk about local, and then we turn around and we find out that somebody who has taken the time to get an education, I could never be a doctor.
Sure.
Listen, I know my punt coverage. Being a doctor is way beyond my punt coverage. And I just think it's too bad that in an era where education is so expensive, and I hope he's innocent. The fact that he had his license revoked for 2 years, or suspended, I should say suspended, that makes me a little, he's still innocent until proven guilty, and I believe he is, but I really am concerned when, someone's livelihood is taken away from them because of allegations. I don't know if the state has the right to do that. It seems that we ought to be innocent until proven guilty.
Well, in the medical field, though, we want to protect, it goes to, we want to protect our citizens.
Yeah. We want to protect our citizens. But we also want to make sure that people are safe, and they kind of expect their government to make things safe. And I do.
Yeah.
I do. I'd be upset if the government knew that somebody out there was doing something that was bad for their patients.
Yeah.
Let's go to the phones where Pat is on the phone, 244-0077. Pat, welcome to Mac's World. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mac, it's me.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Nice to hear from you.
Thank you.
Pat has been become a new friend of mine. Pat Nicholas is her name. She was on the radio not too many weeks ago about she puts on these little 2-minute videos on Facebook and is very conservative, very pro-gun. She's very pro-women, but in the right kind of way. I mean, you, Pat, you wouldn't call yourself a feminist, right?
No, not in the definition of the term that we currently have. I am pro-empowering women, but there's not a single right out there that men have that women don't. So it's about equal opportunity, which we already have. It's not about equal outcome, which is what the feminist movement is all about.
Right. Okay. I like the way you said that. Now, Pat, I love Pat because she's just Pat. I mean, she's just raw, and her husband, Steve, right?
Yep.
Steve, it's so cute to watch him because he knows she could at any minute just pop like a cherry bomb. But he just watches her, and so if he can pick up the pieces. And so anyway, she throws off a copy of an opinion page thing that was printed in the Des Moines Register over the weekend, and she is just livid. Pat, tell us what you're livid about.
I am absolutely livid about this. What they're doing is they're taking the shooting in Colorado Springs, a tragedy, and turning it into politics.
Politics, right.
Gun control politics. The title of it is unbelievable. Let's start there. It says firearms pose a greater threat than terrorism.
Hey, Pat.
Did you hear that? Firearms, not terrorism, pose biggest threat.
Yeah, and they're not even saying the people who commit criminal acts with firearms pose a greater. They're saying the inanimate object itself.
Right. That's hilarious, Pat.
Threat.
That's hilarious. I mean, that headline literally is the opposite of, guns don't kill people, people kill people. That headline is the exact opposite of that sentiment that we've had, logical people have used for a long time.
Hey, Pat, if right-wing abortion rhetoric, body parts for sale, is responsible for prompting this shooting in Colorado at the Planned Parenthood clinic, would it not stand to reason that violent movies, violent rap music, and violent video games causes the Columbine-style school shootings?
It absolutely could be. But really what it boils down to is I have a hard time blaming the movie, blaming the gun, blaming what we have is a heart and soul problem.
That's right.
We have a breakdown of the traditional family problem. We have a self-centeredness problem. We have a problem addressing mental health issues. We do not have a problem with inanimate objects.
Isn't that true? But you see, the low information voter, and I don't care what you want to call them, I'm trying to be nice here. I'm not trying to be a name-calling, bad talk radio guy. I really am trying to be, I'm saying this in love. Oh, I hate when somebody says that. I'm saying it in tough love. That I know I can say. When you people, Democrats, progressives, liberals, low information voters, whoever you want to call you, I don't care. You can call yourself freedom fighters. You can call yourself patriots. You can just put any label you want on you. And then if it isn't somewhere in the low information voter definition, you will prove to me that an inanimate object is more dangerous to you than the people who use it.
Exactly.
It's craziness.
Here's the thing that just the most blatant piece of idiocy in the entire editorial is it flat out comes out and calls law-abiding gun owners more of an enemy to terrorism.
Yeah, it does in the article.
It uses a false equivalency to try and prove that. So it's saying guns, firearms pose a greater threat. Okay, well, there's an estimated 350 million firearms in this country. They're comparing that to a handful of terrorists that we've had. The latest FBI stats show that 8,100 gun murders occurred in 2014. What say we bring in 350 million terrorists and see if we don't have more than 8,100 murders?
Yeah, and I mean, if we really care about life, oh my gosh, just back it up there, Mr. Low Information Voter. Because if you tell me you care about life, then let's start with abortion. Mm-hmm. Let's start with the fallacy, the absolute racist fallacy of this movement called Black Lives Matter. That's like fat people. That's like people like me who are overweight and eat too much ice cream standing in front of Baskin Robbins and said my spoon made me fat.
Right.
These Occupy movements, where it's the 99% that are paying all the bills and the 1%. And then you have people in the Occupy movement, which are wealthy people and students who are simply there just to gawk at the media and get their 5 seconds worth of fame.
Well, I heard something interesting on that the other day, that a good portion, you had two very separate contingents within the Occupy movement. You had the people that were, camping out in Zuccotti Park, the true blue protesters. And then you had these trust fund babies.
Yeah.
That have never been, they wanted to be a part of something. They've had everything handed to them their entire lives. They've really never been a part of anything. And they would come down and they would hang out with the Zuccotti Park protesters, and then they would go to their 5-star hotel at night.
Yeah, right. Well, it's the hypocrisy. And, really, and Pat, thanks for calling. You're always welcome here on the radio. Pat lives in central Iowa, but does not live close enough to always be in the studio, so I appreciate it when she calls in. I know there's hypocrisy on both sides, and it's our job to point that out. If you see hypocrisy on the conservative Christian side, it's your voice I want to hear. It's America. Phone lines are open. 244-0077. When we come back, guns firing themselves on Court Avenue this weekend. Who would have thunk it? Oh, no, I'm sorry. They have a suspect. We'll talk about it.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed, fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
"22 minutes before the top of the hour on the first day of December in the Lord's year 2015. I had to think a minute. We're almost on 2016, man.
Oh, man, I know it. It's going to be crazy. 6 years in. It's easy for me to remember. Truth Network has been in Iowa since 2010. It's very easy for me to remember how long. 6 years we'll be here.
Crazy stuff. Okay, we had a shooting over the weekend down on Court Avenue. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm really just kind of speak out loud here. And if you know me, you know that that's not unusual, off the cuff. Why is it a big deal that I'm reporting on a Tuesday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon that we had somebody killed in a very, very busy, youth-oriented, drug and alcohol-infested industry, not neighborhood. I'm not calling out Court Avenue or anything like that, because this could happen anywhere where you have thousands of people gathered, mixed with alcohol and drugs at 1 a.m. So do not hear that I'm calling out Court Avenue, because Court Avenue, now the city, and there are some citizens that are trying to blame Court Avenue businesses because they used to have off-duty police officers patrolling out there, and then because of budget cuts, they stopped doing it. Well, now some officials, whoever they may be, and the citizens want to blame these type of accidents on the fact that the businesses aren't patrolling that area good enough. And I come down in the middle. I mean, whose job is it to protect the citizen? As a businessman, is it really mine? Are we that socialist now that I have to protect the business, or that I have to protect my client when he leaves my business and he walks a block down the street to his car? And then on the other hand, it is the city. I mean, they know what they've got down there. It's not like all of a sudden they woke up and went, oh my God, we've got 23 bars and restaurants down here. Son of a gun. Somebody got shot. I mean, we've had issues. If you don't know, in the floods of 94, or the floods of 83? 93. Thank you, Frank. Before that, Court Avenue was bustling, and everybody was talking about it. Floods came in and ruined everything. And so it wasn't for probably another 10 to 12 years did enough TIFs, grants, proposals, banks, and everything get behind the Court Avenue district. Now, as you know, if you tie it to local housing, it's really a popular area. Hy-Vee's building their big downtown store there. Polk County Courthouse is now expanded into the old JCPenney building. You've got more and more companies coming downtown. Come and Go's about ready to locate down there. You've got the Social Club, which is in the old firehouse. I mean, it's really cool downtown. We were down there for 4 or 5 years with this. East Village has become great.
Oh, yeah.
But people, common sense, it's kind of like Pat just said here on the radio. When you get a couple of combinations of things together, you're going to have people angry with people. And it isn't the spoon's fault that you're fat. It isn't the car's fault that your son got killed by a drunk driver, and I'm sorry. And it isn't the gun's fault that somebody got drunk and got into a bad deal. Maybe they weren't drinking, I don't know. And somebody died. I mean, that's the society that we live in. If we want to live, if we truly want to live in a true society and a free society, we've got to stop looking to government to solve our problems, because government is evil. What? Did he just say that? Oh my. Yeah, government's evil because the government is the accumulation of the least of the few and their needs. An entrepreneur goes out and figures out for themselves. They build their own company. They figure out how to make people happy. They figure out how to make them income, make a widget, sell it, etc. The government says, well, I just want to live off the back of other taxpayers and tell me what I can do. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not the police department. That's not the fire department. That's not the EMT. There's a lot of government officials that are very necessary. But has anybody ever seen government waste right here in Des Moines? I'm probably never going to get my license plate tags after saying this. But you go down to the DMZ, downtown, 2nd and Court, where you pick up your license plates, you'll never see so much red tape and rhetoric. You know, the little lights, serving now, 36, 37. They've got 12 windows. Half of them are served at any time. The other half are on a break because the unions have created this. You need to take a break every 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's people serving people and not in a good way. So when you expect the government to go downtown on Court Avenue and police that area so somebody doesn't do something stupid, which people do all the time. Remember, we're sinful nature. Free will equals sinful nature. You will only find the term free will in the Bible twice, and that's in one of the Psalms. Paul continually writes about it in all of his letters, that it is sinful nature that we fight. And when people who have sinful nature get a hold of spoons, knives, clubs, bricks, rocks, medicine, and guns, people die. So let's try to solve this problem amongst ourselves rather than making government any bigger and ask them to solve it for us. Frank?
What did Ronald Reagan famously say? That government's not the solution, government's the problem?
Yes.
But there is no intrinsic evil in a sword, in a gun, in a camera. It's who's picking it up and using it where the evil comes in.
Yeah, and that's who we need to talk about it. And I like the fact that Pat brought up mental illness. You know, I'm a Branstad fan, but I'm really disappointed in him closing down some of the mental illness issues or facilities. I know why he did. They were dilapidated. What he should have done is, my guess is if we have another Republican governor, well, probably either way, we're going to have a couple of new mental health facilities proposed. It's kind of like shutting down Fort Madison. We didn't really know how necessary it was until we built the new Fort Madison and we realized what we needed. We need more mental health facilities in this state. Unfortunately, the governor chose to close the ones we have now, save the money, bank it. Who would have thought? Save money? Rather than just go to the taxpayers for bond money. Go to them, and then they'll have mental health facilities. Because there are people who have mental health issues all around us. You know some of them. You don't know the others. And there's some, unfortunately, we'll only be aware of after it's too late.
You know, Mac, I also think about just over the weekend, a group of men and women got together and they prayed. And they prayed as the beginning of a movement of prayer here in the Des Moines metro area in preparation for a large prayer rally the first week in January, where Franklin Graham, son of Reverend Billy Graham, will be here in Des Moines to lead us in prayer for our nation. And I think of that in a time like this when it's just been amazing the last couple of days, the amount of shootings. I mean, you just reported a breaking news shooting over here off University.
45 minutes ago.
Just another one. And, I was thinking about this today in our own life. Mac, you and I were having a conversation earlier. When the Lord's army, when God begins to work and God begins to move and God's people start standing up and they start seeking the face of God and God's heavenly angels and God's Spirit is on the move. And Frank can attest to this. The enemy rises up. It's a real battle. Spiritual warfare is a real thing. When believers stand up and start praying, we have to be aware that the enemy is going to stand up and he's going to do his thing. And the enemy is going to try to advance. The enemy is going to try to harm us. And he does it in a myriad of ways. Mac, you and I were talking about just simple things like discouragement. There are men and women that listen to this station every day that are in different kinds of ministries, whether they're in a homeless shelter or different kinds of ministries that get discouraged. And I want them, and I want to be reminded myself, don't be discouraged. That's the enemy. God has called you uniquely where you are. He is for you. He loves you. Don't give up. Keep up the fight. And I would remind all of us to continue to pray for our city. Continue to pray that God would protect. We should want the people in Court Avenue, the people out at night, to be protected. Even though they might be doing evil, wicked things, we want God to protect them. We don't want them to be harmed. We want God to protect those people in those areas, and we should be praying to that end for our city.
Now, here's a good ending to what could have been terrible, and some of this came from prayer. There was a young boy who was missing, 4 foot 5 inches tall, 80 pounds, was missing in Waukee. He's been found.
Amen. That's good.
And he's safe. So we'll update you on that story, including they've recovered a body from Saylorville Lake, the body of Jeffrey Gardenier. He fell into the lake late Saturday night off the pier, and his body was not recovered until now. Prayers for that family. We're coming back live here on The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
All right, 10 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, and then a story that I'm really blessed to bring you. You all know the story about the young man who tragically died in the Ozarks a couple summers ago when it is alleged that the authorities who had just placed him under arrest for unknown reasons failed to secure him in the boat and he drowned. And his father, Craig, is here today to share for the first time that story and what happened with he and his family during this time. And the thing that I'll tell Craig when he's on the air, but I'll tell you, the thing that amazes me about this guy is Craig's at church every Sunday. Every Sunday. You know, I think, I don't know. I think if something like that happened to me, I hope my faith would be good. I hope I wouldn't be mad at Jesus.
You know, Mac, that's the testimony of so many people that suffering tends to often, sadly too often, drives us away from God.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk to Craig next hour here on The Truth. All right. Now, 1 hour and 7 minutes ago, they had drive-by shootings reported 2 blocks north of Northeast 14th and University. And see, that's right around there around... No, that's not Central High, East High. The big school down there. I know.
East High is right on 235.
Yeah, East High. Okay, so that's just a couple blocks north of East High, right about the time school would get out. But they have had some shell casings found and some houses that have been shot. So if you're in that area, go away. If you're not in that area, don't go there. And if you're the shooter, turn yourself in. See, it's real that simple. We've just solved all the crime problems.
Bam. Done it.
Police are searching for a man they would like to interview in connection with 2 people found dead in a Des Moines home yesterday. The victims have now been identified. Their names have been released. 31-year-old Heather Ballou and 36-year-old Byron Howard of Des Moines were found dead in the 4000 block of Center Street just before 3 p.m. p.m., not a.m., p.m., after police responded to reports of a shooting. Gosh darn it, those guns again. Those guns just jump off of gun racks at Walmart, and then they go walking down the street like they think there's nobody's business, and then when they decide to go off, somebody gets hurt.
Silly guns.
Silly guns. According to police news reports, they are actively attempting to locate Michael John Wanchenek.
Is that what they call is what they named the gun? So the gun had a name?
W-A-N-C-H. So Wanched. Anik, A-N-I-C. If you go to your Facebook pages, if you go to your Des Moines Register websites, if you go to Channel 13 website, they've got pictures of him up there. He's considered a person of interest in the deaths. The news release stated Michael John is a white male, 5 foot, 10 inches tall, weighs about 150 pounds. He's just a little thing.
Wow, yeah.
He has brown hair and brown eyes. He is believed to be driving a beige-colored 2002 Dodge Grand Caravan. Iowa license plates D as in David, M as in Mary, R as in Robert 234, DMR 234. This according to the news release. If anyone sees the vehicle, do not try to pull it over yourself. Colombo. Call Crime Stoppers 223-1400 or call 911 as soon as you can. Here's what's bizarre. Frank, what?
You mean Gomer can't make a citizen's arrest?
No, he can't. So here's what's weird. I just want to give you this scenario. So these 2 people are in their home, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Because the neighbor heard the gunshots, came over immediately, found the bodies. So the murder happened around 3 p.m. on Monday afternoon. This couple had an infant toddler and also a baby. Both of these kids were not hurt. And just they were in the house. So the whoever hurt these people did not hurt them, did not steal them, did not take them, did not kill them. They were found, obviously unharmed, inside the home with the deceased. I'm sorry. I said they were their kids. The relationship is not completely clear. So I don't know. That just sounds weird to me. I don't know why you'd shoot anybody in the first place, but those kids are, I guess, lucky that they didn't get hit. All right. Also, Dateline, Urbandale, Iowa, a Des Moines teen is accused of making threats against a local school district, Urbandale, in fact. Police say the threat was posted on Urbandale Middle School's Facebook page Sunday night. Police identified the suspect through the posting, and a 15-year-old is in custody charged with first-degree harassment. You know, I'm always in favor of letting the young grow up, and maybe 18 is old enough to do a lot of things that they don't let them do till they're 20 or 21. But this 15 is obviously not the age in which your brains grow in completely. You're a 15-year-old and you put harassment on your school's Facebook page.
Well, now wait a minute, Mac. People far older than 15 have done far dumber things than that. So I don't know that we can say that this person is guilt-free because they're 15. I don't know the whole story here, but I'm not necessarily going to say...
I'm not saying they're guilt-free. I'm sorry. I'm not saying they're guilt-free. I'm saying 15 isn't such an old age anymore.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
You know, when I'm going to sound old here, but I can tell you what my grandfather was doing at 15.
Right.
He was raising my father. Well,
right.
He was raising my aunt first.
I see what you're saying.
He had dropped out of high school, and he was on his road to paying the bills for the family, because he had 2 older brothers who had been killed on the farm.
Yeah.
Actually at 14. Here's a kid who at 15 can't even figure out that you don't harass somebody on a public Facebook page without thinking you're going to get into trouble. And what about the parents? What do you say to the parents? You know, so many times we hold parents responsible for their actions of the kids. And many times I say, you know, that's just wrong. The parents had nothing to do with it, but they're under 18, and so the parents are held responsible. Okay, so where are the parents responsible here? What kind of a house? I'm not judging, I'm asking. What kind of a house does this 15-year-old kid live in that he feels like he can go on a public website and first-degree harassment? This isn't a little deal. First-degree harassment.
Does it talk about what the child said?
No. We'll never know his name. We'll never know what he said. He is in the Polk County Juvenile Detention Center, which hopefully, scares the stuffing out of him, and this never happens again. But chances are, in our society, our broken, deteriorized social morals, lacking of social moral society, he'll be a hero at work or at school. He'll be a hero.
Well, and there is something to be said, though, for parent responsibility. The parents need to be somewhat responsible for this. They're not fully, but they have a part to play in this. They're raising their child.
And I know I'm going to sound like I'm beating the same drum, but if I work at Walmart and I sell you a gun and you go out and hurt somebody with that gun, I'm held liable. So if I'm the parent of a 15-year-old that threatens somebody with a computer that's provided to him by the parents, someplace aren't the parents? I don't know. All right, long break. Local news along with Salem Radio Network news, and then one dad and his brokenhearted story, but his strong faith. He'll be here live on The Truth. 99.3. Thanks for listening. You want to sit in here?